Micah 6 verse 8 says, "He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." Are you living out a three-dimensional life, or does life seem flat? The flat life is a sign of a life out of balance. Today, we look at a triangle which shows us how to keep our relationships in balance. The verse from Micah shows us three dimensions of a relationship: upwards to God, inwards towards family and friends and community, and out into the world. In Luke 6, we see Jesus going up the mountain to pray to the Father, then calling his disciples to him, and then going out to minister to the crowds that are gathered. So Jesus had this balanced pattern of relationships illustrated through the triangle. So we look up, time spent with the Father, to walk humbly with God. We have the inward dimension. Jesus didn't minister alone. He devoted his time to a group of followers, deep relationships, loving mercy. You know, you have to be merciful when you're working in team, because they never do it just as you want. But that is what strengthens us. And finally, the out. Jesus was strengthened in going out to act justly in the world because of his team and because of his relationship with God. The triangle reminds us to develop all three relationships in a balanced way. The upward dimension, consciously inviting Jesus into our daily activities. Jesus is not just for our daily quiet times or our Sundays. Invite Jesus to go to work with you. Invite Jesus to go with you to the supermarket. Invite Jesus into your family times. The inward dimension, building up relationships with fellow believers so we can share our journey together and support each other. Jesus said, by our love for one another, people would know that we're his followers. You know, we need to build community of believers because the world is hungry for community. And then the outward dimension, we need to develop friendships with people in the wider world. We need to serve the world as Jesus did. We're not about just creating a holy huddle. We're about living in the world and going out to the world and seeing it transformed. Often we can get out of balance. We can neglect God. We can neglect the Christian community, or we can neglect service. Either way, we're all up and in like a holy huddle. We're up and out like a lone ranger, or we're in and out, which was busy and serving, but not spending time with God and burning out. Up, out, and in. That's the triangle. It's so simple, it seems obvious. But just because it's obvious doesn't mean we're not often out of balance. So learn to live a balanced life.